O.H. Skinner, Executive Director at Alliance for Consumers. Republican attorney generals are calling on the EPA to defund the climate lawfare groups out there, and it's about time. Hi, O.H.
How are you doing, Pawn?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Not too bad. I wish I could go to Busch Stadium this weekend.
I know, right? We've got so much going on with the fair and the SEMO games, and just we've got parades, we've got pageants, we've got farm to table, and we've got Busch Stadium going on. So, no rest for the wicked, OH. Come on down.
It's a good life in real America, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
It is. Yeah, we love what we do. Okay, so it is about time we fought back on this nut job climate change lawfare crap, because, you know, Donald Trump's cutting the cord on the big wind thing that would kill birds and cause whales to lose their minds, and all this stuff is going on. So I'm excited that this is finally happening.
It's huge. I mean, the thing that all you listeners need to understand is the left keeps losing at the ballot box, but that just means that they have been doubling down on the idea that they're going to transform America through the courtroom. And it's so important to them, because they keep losing at the ballot box, that they are leaving nothing to chance, right? This is the crucial thing to understand. They are putting massive resources into these lawsuits to try to take away the things that you have every day and make you live like a California liberal. And they are now, what we've unearthed recently is that they are putting all sorts of resources into groups like the Environmental Law Institute and this Climate Judiciary Project. And the whole point is to make sure that, you know, that the judges know exactly which way they're supposed to rule, so that they leave nothing to chance, right? The left cannot leave anything to chance, because this is their last ditch effort to take over our society. And what we've uncovered is just how many different strains of money they have going into these ELI groups, this Environmental Law Institute. You know, they were pushing donor money in there, but they also, under Joe Biden, had found different ways to funnel massive amounts of federal money into this, because, as you know, if they have an idea that they want to back with donors, they'll find immediately a way to get lots of your taxpayer dollars to funnel into the same thing, right? They're really, really talented at that, and also shameless, right?
Yeah.
So that's,
they don't care.
They don't care, right? So we understand that. So,
Yeah.
so there's been a huge amount of pushback. Senator Cruz has had hearings talking about how this is totally not above board to have this Climate Judiciary Project and the Environmental Law Institute trying to prime all the judges and do this, get the fix in, right? That's what they're trying to do. And what we've unearthed is that a bunch of Republican states figured out that through, you know, lots of backdoor channels, the Environmental Law Institute was getting money from the EPA, and EPA had shut down part of it, but, you know, they dig it into all sorts of little corners. So while EPA under Trump had gotten rid of chunks of it, turns out there were other parts that were still hidden. And so thank goodness we have people on the beat nowadays. And so the Attorney General of Montana, who really understands what time it is, Austin Knudsen, wrote a letter to EPA, and it sounds like everything is in the works where EPA is rising to the occasion, because if we're not careful, the left is still going to take over our society with these lawsuits, even no matter how many elections we win.
Yeah, and we've got to stop them, because everything we try to do, they take to court, because they have their little judicial pets who will take on these cases and act like it's a serious offense when it's just the government doing its job. But when they do something, if we take it to court, we're racist, we're heinous, we're this, we're that, we're anti-Semitic, we're phobic of something. I mean, they love to throw names and to take things to court, but now the shoe is on the other foot. Now, our Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, got stolen. They took him to the FBI. They took him away, and I'm not very happy about it. But we do have Catherine Hanaway standing in as our first woman Attorney General of Missouri ever, and she is just as much of a pit bull. So we lost a good guy, gained a good woman, and the FBI is better for it. But I know he was also all over this and was unhappy with the way things were happening.
Yes, and the crucial thing that I think everyone needs to understand is, when we are playing defense because there's a leftist in the White House or a leftist in Congress, our team rightfully is just trying to stop the left's takeover, right? Because ultimately, conservatives want consumers to have choices. You know, if you want to be a whack job in a coastal place like in California and, you know, drive a battery-powered golf cart and ride an electric bike, take your kids to school in the rain, you know, we actually think you're allowed to do that, right? I mean, might need to have like a little mental check-in on you, but, you know, you're allowed to do that. What's crazy, and I think what's so important for everyone who's listening to understand, is the left doesn't just stop at suing over everything President Trump is doing.
Right.
They are busy with lawsuit after lawsuit, where the point is to take away your car, to take away your air conditioner, to take away the things you have that they wish you weren't using. So whereas our lawsuits have historically been defense, right, protect our way of life, their lawsuits are stop what Trump's doing and change your life in Missouri so that you have to live like somebody who rides an electric bike in the rain to school in California.
Yeah.
And that is that's really dangerous, and something that we talk about more and more, especially as a consumer group, is that this is the left's woke lawfare campaign. They are intending to impose the wokest life preferences they can all through lawsuits, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just stopping our team from getting good things for consumers or stopping, you know, we want to stop the windmills from killing the whales, and they want the windmills to kill the whales, right? They're trying to go further and reshape American society through the courtroom, and they're doing it with this full court press, right? So thank goodness for Andrew Bailey, Catherine Hanaway, and all of their friends, because we need our team to rise up and sound the alarm, because one day you're going to look out in your garage and realize that you're not allowed to have a Super Duty, and you're going to wonder why. You're going to think, when we voted in Andrew Bailey, we got Catherine Hanaway, we have Senator Schmidt, like, I don't understand. And the answer is going to be because some lefty radical lawsuit out of, you know, one of these coastal places has just suddenly made it so that Ford can't make those trucks anymore.
Yeah, and it's crap because
they
can't even sell them. Nobody wants them.
Exactly.
They're garbage.
Right, exactly. So you can't buy the thing you want because some leftist woke lawfare took it away. And they're now trying to make you drive something that you didn't want, right? So, you know, we have put out the warning on this as often as we can. Yeah, we put this out as long as we can. Just people need to know that the left is not going to stop with anti-Trump. They want you to not have the choices that you want to have, so that they want you to live like they want you to live, and they're not going to stop, and so we've got to stop them.
Poor little booger. He just called us a MAGA cult. Let me tell you what a cult is. A cult is a union of people where they get together and they all have to have the exact same way of thinking, and their dear leader tells them what to do, and they say, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?" Those of us who are on the MAGA side are like, yeah, freedom, baby. We're going to do whatever we want, and we're proud of our president for kicking everybody's butt who doesn't want to listen to the fact that we want to stay free. So if that's a cult to you, I don't know what you're going to call yourself, because maybe go live in a tree. I don't know. But for me, I enjoy the freedom. I will never, ever drive an electric car. I'm not completely opposed to hybrids, but I have a 6-speed Honda that flies, and I'm not driving an electric car. I'm not. I don't even think it's fair to deer because you can't hear them coming. I'm just saying.
Well, and I mean, you understand what it's like to live outside of like downtown San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, they all just want us to live like we live in San Francisco. Nope. And the spoiler alert is, you know, most Americans don't live in San Francisco, don't want to live in San Francisco, and you've nailed it. People want to live their lives, and they want to be able to buy the things that make sense for their family. And it's just really important for everyone to understand that this Environmental Law Institute story, this ELI story, what EPA is doing, it's all just a little revelation about how committed the left is to how the lawfare is going to be, how they force change on you, because they can't pass it in Congress. You know, Bernie can't get the Green New Deal in Congress, so they're going to turn around and bring a wave of lawsuits to try to get it through the courtroom. And that's really dangerous. It's really dangerous and scary. Yes.
And I don't want my money that I'm paying in tax dollars to go to fight for something I don't want.
Oh, God, yeah, and that's the thing. They're busy using your tax dollars through the EPA to subsidize this, and they buried it so that when the Trump administration cut the first wave of grants, they cut a lot of these, right? Mm-hmm. But they managed to bury some so deep inside EPA that, now it's taking a second look and a third look, not because anybody at EPA is on board with it, but because, the left is real good at hiding what they're doing.
Yeah, and if you want to snip the umbilical cord here and go all electric, please do that, but don't try to force everyone else to. Humans are not changing the climate. You will never convince me of that. I have a meteorological background, and I happen to know that we've only been keeping records for long enough to try to make a claim that isn't even true. Because if that were the fact, there never would have been an ice age, there never would have been a heat age, there never would have been a cyclical pattern on this planet since the day she was born, if man was the problem. So we should be good stewards of our planet, but you cannot force this kind of crap on us. If you want solar panels, cover your house in them. Make it out of glass. I don't care. If you want a giant windmill, knock yourself out, but I'm not doing that crap. I'm not doing it. Period.
I don't. Yeah, and the end of the day, it is. If you want to be a goofball, you should be allowed to be a goofball. But they're not going to stop at that, right? They want you to live like them. Nope. And everybody, that's the thing. They've mixed up climate change and clean air and clean water. Everybody wants clean air and clean water for their kids, right?
Of course.
But suddenly everything is, you're not allowed to have air conditioning because of climate change. You're not allowed to have a car that's the wrong size. And what you and I have talked about, I think, before is when they say you're not allowed to have a car that's the wrong size, they're really also telling you you're not allowed to have too many kids.
Yeah. Well,
and that's the part that, as a parent, will get you really fired up.
Yeah, and we're almost out of time, but let me just say one last thing about it. You want to tell us to keep our laws off your bodies when it comes to killing babies, but you want to put your laws all over our bodies when it comes to climate change. And if climate change were real and we were doing it, you wouldn't have changed the name of it 17 times to try to fit your agenda. There's that.
It's almost like it's about social control.
It is. You think? Yeah. Okay. O.H. Skinner, Executive Director, Alliance for Consumers. Where do they go to learn more about this EPA lawsuit?
Go to allianceforconsumers.org, and thanks for having me on, Fawn.
You're very welcome, sir. Bye.